Musictechworks. What's up, STANDALONE here, Musictechworks. So the other night I was working on some tracks and everything, and then I heard Melvin Riley had a new single, so I pulled it up. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's dope. He was the lead singer for Ready for the World, a group back that started in the 80s, and they were phenomenal, especially with the ballads. And they had a couple of up-tempo, a few up-tempo bangers. But lately I've been getting a lot of calls to produce records like what Money Long is doing, of course, and Summer Walker with Heart of Woman, things like that. But it's so funny how I've been doing these types of tracks anyway, but once you hear some stuff on the radio like Residuals or, Made for Me, which won a Grammy. Congrats to that team. Jermaine Dupri, big inspiration of mine. Brian Michael Cox, that whole writers team. Money Long, of course, congratulations to that. But the track was coming out good. I said, I'm just going to show my process of this and go ahead and document this and everything. So once you hear it, and then you'll be like, okay, yeah, he made that track. But regardless, I'm going to just pick up where I left off at. I'm going to play it, just solo each part so you can hear exactly what happened. And then we're going to finish the beat up from there. All right. So here's the beat. All right, so the MF keys, this is from the Mini Freak. I actually programmed a little sound, did a little something to it. Then I recorded the audio inside to the MPC on the audio track. And it sounds great just by itself. And once I pretty much sampled it or recorded it to an audio track, the MPC, it does its thing as far as what it does to samples once you sample with it. It's even grittier in the older machines, but here it sounds really good inside of the MPC itself. So let me just play this part and then I'll go to the next part. The first two parts, only keyboards I have so far is the Mini Freak, and I got two sounds from the Mini Freak. Here's the first one. Here's the Mini Freak, the lead sound right here. Solo it. Here's my snare. Snare 2. It just comes in, just some little rolls, little hits here during the song, kind of in the middle of the loop. And what I did, I turned full level off so I can just kind of vary it, vary the velocity. Next sound. Little shaker sound here. With a hi-hat at the end, closed hi-hat. Next one. All right, so this is from Sub Factory, the MPC plugin. It's called Juice. I made a couple of tweaks to it. So I just had to hit on the downbeat at the beginning of the first bar and the fourth bar. And then at the end, I did a little turnaround just to walk it down. Then here's my kick. All right, you get the idea there. Then I have a splash. Comes in. Hi-hats. This sound right here comes from the Phantom here. It just kind of comes in. Then I added a couple orchestral sounds from the Phantom as well. Just let you hear those. And I just left them like that. And they're coming from the Phantom again. All right, I got the little snare roll too. And this is where I stopped at. So from here, we're going to go ahead and continue. And so far, this is what we got. All right, so what I don't have is I wanted to do a bass synth to complement the 808 synth sound, the sub factory sound. So let me just go through what I think I'm going to turn to the let's turn to this unit here. Let's turn to the Poly D, which is a Moog inspired instrument. The Mini D Moog inspired instrument. The only difference is that it's paraphonic, which means you can play more than one note on it. It has 4 oscillators, so I can actually play chords on it. But right now I'm just going to use it as bass. All right, so let me just go to my MPC here. Then I'm going to create a new track, and then I'm going to choose MIDI. Now, I could use the Model D. Now the Model D is nasty. It's really nasty. All right, so let's go to the Poly D. The Poly D is running through the Mackie mixer, so it's pretty noisy too. But let me. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna play around with the sound as well. Let's see here. That's what I'll do. I'm gonna take some of the resonance off just to darken it up a little bit. so that sound is bassy, but it's not like too bassy where it's clashing with the 808. So I'm just gonna just kind of roll it. I'm gonna record it, and then I'm gonna just play with the sound after the fact. So on the MPC, we will go ahead and just go ahead and record that. Okay, so I use a filter on it just to kind of make it a little bit more bassy. Then I also made the attack just a little bit slower, so it just comes in a little bit later. So it won't hit. I don't want it to hit like a drum. I still want it to be like a Moog bass type. And I got the distortion in the chorus on turned on this. Actually, distortion is off. What happens if I turn on distortion? For this track, that's too much, so we're just gonna leave that off. All right, so let's roll with that for now, and then let's see what else we got. I need something in the middle of this TO5, because I need like some pads or something just to sustain it, just to kind of glue everything together, and then we just start adding like a couple of more layered sounds just to kind of fill it up. And I just might add, I may or may not, just add maybe a little signature piano sound that I like to put in my tracks. All right, so let's go. So there's the TO5 here. On the MPC, we're gonna create a new MIDI track, and then we're gonna choose the TO5. Now I have my Phantom as my main controller for the whole studio. I can play the parts on the Phantom, or I can play the parts on the TO5. So just for the inspiration, I'm gonna play the parts on the TO5. And I'm just gonna kind of just go through some sounds and just see what we got here. I like the sound. I'm gonna play it from the Phantom. I'm gonna record it and then I'm gonna mess with the sound. All right, so let's go to the Phantom, see what we got here. Let's turn the quantize off. All right, so after just kind of listening to it a little bit and just going through some more sounds, really not that much to add or anything else really need. The only thing I wanted to just kind of emphasize the bass part a little bit because I'm not really having like a 808 or another kind of bass going all the way through that's like really in a sub. So what I did, I found a patch. I found a patch inside of the Roland SEO2, and let me show you that unit here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to play on top of the Poly D, that bass line. I'm just going to play along with it. And I'm actually playing it on the Phantom, but it's MIDI'd up to trigger the Roland SEO2. So now we'll just kind of blend that in with the Moog, with the Poly D. All right, question is, do I hear a bridge? Do I hear a bridge? So what I'm doing, I'm just gonna copy the sequence, and then I'm gonna pick the instrument to do a chord progression on, probably the piano track, and then just see if I feel anything. If not, we just gonna keep it moving on. All right, 1 second here. Well, let's go ahead and save first. So we'll go in here and just mute everything, except for I clear the piano track and just mute everything else. All right, now let's try it. So for now, I'm not going to do a bridge. I'm not going to do it. I may come back to it later or just do something different. But right now, I'm not going to do a bridge. I'm not feeling it. Something changed with my TO5 sound. Let me see if I can tweak this back to the way I had it. Usually this analog gear, when it sits over time, like if it gets hot, it can change, or, you know, I did take a break on this, so like almost a whole day. But, you know, I just want to go and just see if I can tweak this back to where it was. So then I'll just do my little, you know, ins and outs live and just see, okay, am I ready for tracking? Once I do that, I go ahead and arrange it. I could arrange it on the MPC, but I probably won't. I usually just track it out into Pro Tools and then just do my arrangement there. Let's just kind of go in and out with it to see what happens. All right, so I think we got enough to go ahead and make a song out of this. And what I do is the next thing I'm going to do is just get this in Pro Tools, and maybe what I'll do is split this video, just make it part 2, and then part 2 will just show me just tracking. All right, and that was my process. So now a lot of people say, oh, you know, okay, so some people, they want to come to the studio with me, right? I'm like, you don't want to come to the studio, you don't want to sit in here while I make a beat, because you know, it could be boring or whatever. But I don't really rush the process. I just let it flow. I'm not into the microwave business. Can I make a beat in 5 minutes? Sure. But I like to explore sounds and just try different things. Maybe just do something to get the idea out, and then I'll come back to it. But I generally take my time, and you could kind of tell that when I'm done with it, I don't do the microwave thing, not too often. I do, you know, for the little, you know, depending on what kind of beat they want. But if I'm just trying to do something, okay, let me, you know, maybe try to impress an artist, or, you know, maybe try to get a placement with it or something, or just trying to be serious with it. I'll take my time with it, and I'll use mostly my hardware synths to create the tracks along with the MPC, and sometimes I'll crank up the 60, or I use some of my other tools, like I didn't put this one in the stack yet, but this Korg Mini D, not Mini D, but Mini Log. Yeah, it's very dope, you know. So what I'll do is in the next video, I'll track it out into Pro Tools to show you how I got everything, well, most of how I got everything connected. And then I'll track it out in the Pro Tools, and then I'll put an arrangement in Pro Tools. And if I hear anything else, I'll just add it in Pro Tools. All right, thanks for watching, subscribing, sharing, commenting. And, you know, you want to step into the hardware game, it's a little bit more work, but trust me, when you're in that studio and there's 10 other producers playing their beats, and yours come on and it's sonically hitting the way it's supposed to hit, like, they'll say, hey, who did that track? You know, a lot of times when we're in the studio, we don't say whose track is playing. They'll just play the track, and the artist be like, put that one in the folder. They'll point, yeah, that one, that one, that one. And sometimes they'll say, hey, what's that? And then who did that track? But it sounds a certain way. How you get it to sound like that? You know, it's really just, I'm just using a lot of analog gear and recording, tracking in instead of just exporting and bouncing down. So they can make a big difference. And, you know, we talked about that before, but a lot of people they don't want to take the time to work on their craft and take the time just to make it sound good, you know. I know a lot of cats that can play instruments, but do they understand the production game? It's a difference. So when you can do both, I'm not the best player, but I understand production, and I'm an engineer too. So, and I listen to all the great records. I'm just so hooked on the sonic sound of it. I noticed a big difference when I had stopped using my 2000 XL back in the day, and then I got stuck with Reason, which was fine, but it was a difference in my tracks. When I got my MPC back, it was back to where, you know, back to where I was. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. In the next video, I will track this out into Pro Tools and just show you how I arrange in Pro Tools. Now the sync option is not working yet in Pro Tools again with these new MPCs, but I'm just gonna track out each part and line it up like how you see some of the FL guys do. They'll just have like 18 different synths up, the hardware synths, and then they'll just track each part, and then they'll arrange it in a timeline. That's basically what I'm gonna do. But I'll have my tempo. I'll be able to line it up and everything. But yep, until next time, thanks for watching, subscribing, sharing. Peace out.